Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode, a very special episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I'm your host, Naveen Ganglani. I can't wait to get into this episode. We've got a special guest. So, first, I want to thank our major sponsors and partners of the podcast Cooper's Coffee House, one of the best, well, for me, the best coffee shop in Manila right now. Their iced matcha is to die for, their brown butter latte is the undisputed most yummy coffee right now. I know you guys might think I'm just saying that because they're a partner of this podcast, but honestly, I've liked their coffee even before they partnered with us. And that's actually the biggest reason why I wanted to partner with them, and they have. So go check out their branches as Mega Mall, One Ayala, their new aesthetic branch in BGC. Check that out. And also a big thank you to the friends over at Daily Fantasy. As you guys might know from listening to this podcast now, Daily Fantasy has some big cash prize games for the rest of December. Three to be specific. I'll be putting it on the ticker throughout this episode so you can note down. The closest one is on December 14. More than 100,000 pesos on the line for each game. So after this episode is done being recorded live, I'll be putting a referral code and a link to register to Daily Fantasy on the description box of this episode for you guys to check out and join. Trust me, you have a big chance of winning. Why not believe in yourself, right? Speaking of believing yourself, someone who I know has a lot of confidence is Xavier Lucero, who has been kind enough to join me. Just so you guys know, attendance check, Xavier is present for today's podcast episode. So yeah, there are gonna be a lot of jokes in this episode, but honestly, it's all love always with you, Xavier. Thanks for coming once again. It's been a while since I've had you here. I mean, last time I had you on the podcast, I wasn't a dad yet, and now look how quickly life changes. And
Man,
you, by the way, yeah, man, you, by the way, you just continue to ascend as one of the best hoopers in the country right now. People need to take notice of what you've been doing with Magnolia. But yeah, how are you doing, Xavier? What's new?
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me, man. It has been a while. Congratulations on the baby, man. And the kind words. You know, you know me, man. I'm same old, low key, just hooping, bro, and trying to reach that next level with our team. Make a deep push. We got new players, new coach, so everything's been good, man. I can't complain.
I'm happy to hear that. So it's a Friday. You get a day off. Normally, you guys play on Wednesdays or Fridays or Sundays, but you guys have been pretty good this season, shall we say? I mean, your numbers have been across the board probably the best in your career. What do you just feel that at this point right now of your career, this is the best basketball player you've been physically, mentally, everything involved?
I think mentally, probably for sure. I don't know physically. I felt better in my career, but there's always going to be those nagging injuries. As you get older, and not to say that I'm old, but I'm definitely older than I was when I was a kid, filled with youth. My college years, even at UP, just having that adrenaline in me, that energy in me, that maybe I don't have as much of now, but mentally for sure. Um, and I hope it's showing, what I mean? And I hope it's making a difference in my game. Just mentally is the biggest thing. Your mind, your mindset, and your confidence. That's the biggest thing in basketball. I mean, more than the physical. So me trying to stay ahead and continue to progress there, that's the key for me.
That's awesome because I remember when you were on your road to recovery while you were doing rehab before the PBA draft, you were open about how that was some of the most mentally challenging days of your life. It's
For
hard to just
sure.
kind of get yourself going when you know the road to recovery is so long. But hey, the hard work paid off. You're the reigning defensive player of the year in the PBA. You are more than an all-star at this point. And once the playoffs roll around, I'm sure you'll be ready to once again show off your big game chops that we saw in the UAAP. Speaking of the UAAP and big games, you were there live the other day for game one of the UAAP Finals, Salle versus UP. You came in with 1.5, I think, at a certain point in the third quarter. And I'm not sure if you know this, but in some videos of Jacob's Dagger 3, there's like a clip of you right there in the middle of the fans as you're watching it happen. So,
For real?
for real, yeah, for real.
Tough shot. Tough shot.
You would respect a shot like that. That the training that goes into just making that shot even possible is insane. But what did you observe just from a matchup and X's and O's perspective that led to the result of the game?
It's always an interesting thing, right? Because you get to this stage of the season, and these guys are they're pretty familiar with each other in the finals. So you got their third matchup in 3 years, and so really what it comes down to at this point is who wants it more, right? And I thought LaSalle, from what I saw in the fourth quarter, they wanted it a bit, maybe not wanted it a bit more, but it showed. The offensive rebounds were huge. The defense, being able to get stops late, and at the end of the game, it's really anybody's ball game, right? But they were able to get those breaks, able to make those breaks, and yeah, just UP didn't have quite the answer late game that they needed.
The hustle plays and winning the possession battle, which you mentioned late in the game. I mean, are those what you look for in the stat sheet after a big game like that? I'm not sure if you're a stat sheet kind of guy where you look at the numbers, because I know some players like getting to the numbers. Coaches definitely do, but some players just prefer, going out there and playing, not worrying about what the analytics say too much. But when you look at the numbers after a finals game, like what are the key stats you're looking at that makes you say, "Oh, hey, they beat us in that category. That's probably why they won."
Yeah, I think obviously team stats are the ones that that matter most, less than individual. But uh, I'm a little bit of both as far as analytics and how the game plays out. Obviously, there's things like possessions that you want the most of. So you see teams playing faster. Like in the PBA, you have rain or shine. In the NBA, you have the Warriors before just shooting within 7 seconds of the shot clock to get more possessions, limiting your turnovers and whatnot. But I think another big one is rebounds, offensive rebounds for sure. That's how you get extra possessions, and they got the best guy on their team to be able to do that for them, and Mike Phillips. And then they have other bigs and just guys that came in and weren't like Pablo. He obviously had uh, some extra motivation, and it showed. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I'm super quick to look at the stats more than I am just analyzing what are you seeing out there, because sometimes the numbers, they don't tell the whole story as far as the intangibles that guys are doing. You know what I mean?
Mentally, when you're in a situation like the Fighting Maroons were, because they were ahead for most of the game. The first quarter was more of a back and forth battle, but when UP took like a 3-4 point lead in the second period, they just had every answer to hold on to like the 2 or 3 possession lead up to like midway through the fourth quarter, right? Because Alarcon was going off, and then in the third period, you had different guys scoring like Naruka, Abadiano, Fortea, Torres, just to keep the lead up there, right? And meanwhile, this whole time throughout the game one, it feels like LaSalle's trying to play catch up. Like, they're down by four and then they go down by two, but then they go back down by five and then they cut it to three or one, but then suddenly UP scores two straight possessions. They're up by seven, they're up by nine. So, two questions to that actually. One, what does it say about a team's mental resilience that despite their comebacks being stopped, they can still keep going, keep going, keep going? And two, how difficult is it for a team like UP where you're ahead most of the game and then suddenly, with a few minutes left and the clock winding down, you're the ones playing catch up?
Yeah, man. I think as the team that's playing catch up the whole time, the mindset has to be, you know, no lead, no both sides. No lead is safe, right? Especially in basketball, no lead is in sports. No lead is ever safe. So as long as you're keeping close, and LaSalle was keeping close, you never let it balloon to too much. And even if it does, but they didn't let it balloon too much. So I'm sure in their minds there was never a doubt, because up until they went ahead, they had a lot of time. Um, and I think for UP on the other side, yeah, it's tough to feel like you had the game and you just weren't able to close it out. But at the same time, it is something that you can take into game two. Just as far as if I lose that game as UP, I feel like I should have won. So you clean a few things up, you tighten up some bolts, and then maybe you come away with that game. So If it's me, I feel like I should have won that game, and so now it's just about making sure that I do. And then for DLSU, I'm trying to make sure you can control a little bit more of the game, but I'm sure they're coming into it with loads of confidence. You know, what I mean, they beat this team 3 times in a row now. So, I mean, for me, if I was them, people joke about what I said, but if I was on the LaSalle side, I'd feel really confident and I would feel like, this team can't hold me. We got their number this year, and that's just how it is.
Now, you've been in a locker room after a UP loss, obviously, particularly a loss in the finals. In season 84, you guys won game one, then you guys almost won game two, but that ended up being a loss. And then in season 85, obviously, I mean, you weren't probably there in the locker room right after the loss, but you probably had an idea what your teammates were feeling, right? And by the way, what would have happened if you never got injured? That remains one of the biggest what if questions in the UAAP. So
A win, Naveen, a
after
win.
okay, I like it. Direct to the point. I love it. So, when you're in that locker room with Coach Gold and that assistant coaching staff, I mean, what's their message right now to the rest of the boys? What are they kind of harping on? Because it's easy to say, yeah, we got to fire the boys up, but you got to key in at a certain philosophy or a certain lecture point to get your message across, right?
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, I talked to a couple of the guys over there, but from what I've heard, I, they didn't go up there and blow it up, right? Gold didn't go in there and just hammer on his guys because it's not really what you need at this point, right? You know, I don't know if you need a come to Jesus talk, but you just need to be real with the guys, and I think, like I said, it's not like they got blown out. They lost a game that they just didn't execute well at the end. They didn't get stops. They didn't get rebounds at the end. All the things that you could control, like they couldn't even inbound the ball at the end. So you fix a couple things, and maybe that game is a little different. You know what I mean? You get a couple stops, you score a couple buckets, and so I think game for me, losing game two was always super frustrating, right? Because you had a chance. You feel like you have a tendency after game one to be like, all right, we're gonna close this out. You know what I mean? So things kind of get thrown out the window. You don't play your game right in game two, which is I'm hoping what happens to DLSU. But I think for UP, um, yeah, I mean just understanding that you were right there. So it's not time to panic, right? It's time to buckle down and just do what you need to do, make the adjustments that you need to make.
Shout out to everyone tuning in live right now. For those who have any questions, send them our way, especially about the matchup between LaSalle and UP. Now, your first two seasons, or rather your only two seasons with UP, were the first and second seasons for Harold Alarcon. And, you know, when he was a rookie, to me, he was more of a defensive guy than the scorer he is now. I remember that Final Four matchup against DLSU, the one you guys won, where you were down 14 with under 5 minutes to go and still found a way to win that game. One of the sparks actually that allowed you guys to come back in the game was Alarcon's defense, because I remember Coach Gold subbing him in and him just making defensive stops and defensive plays, letting you guys get out on the run. And then in the second year of Harold, we kind of started to say, okay, maybe there's some offensive potential here. It got better in his third season, and last year he kind of established himself as a really good offensive weapon too. And then this year he just took that leap, in my opinion, to being a star. So early on from your days with Harold, did you ever imagine that the guy coming off the bench to provide defensive energy has turned into this, college star? Did you ever anticipate this?
I think for me, yeah, you could kind of see it. I'm not gonna act like like I am the guru and I could predict the future. But you see these guys working. You know what I mean? The NU boys, Jerry, Terrence, Harold, the guys that I was with, they work. Especially Harold was working a lot. And then yeah, you see glimpses of it. Now, when you have a team with as many weapons as we did, it's going to be hard to showcase that, especially as one of the younger guys. with limited opportunity, right? I mean, with the guys that we had, it's hard because there's other guys that it's their show right now. It's not your show yet. But um, the glimpses were there, especially like you said, season 85. You know, there's times where Harold would get loose. You know what I mean? And the clutch factor too. He hit some big shots. Game 3 of the finals, season 85. You know, he hits a three that's probably for sure a foul, and he hits it facing the opposite
His body
direction
going
almost.
so many different ways. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, for me, the confidence is there for sure. And like I said earlier, that's the biggest thing, right? So when confidence meets work ethic, then you got a chance. You know what I mean? And so we're seeing it now. We definitely saw it in game 1. Um, his ability to get a bucket. So um, yeah. So yeah, I'm just happy for him, man. I'm hoping he can bring it again the rest of the series.
Yeah, 34 points, the most in a finals game since 30 Raven had 38 a few years ago in 2018. And he got a lot of these shots the difficult way, turnarounds, step backs, pull ups, outside shots, a few floaters here and there, drives to the rim, and one. He really showed the whole package. Now, there was a debate after the game, too, where because someone is going off, he's got 34 points, which isn't easy to do in a UAP finals game, especially, you know, against a rival team, where people were okay with Harold taking a lot of those shots, some of those ISOs late in the fourth quarter. Now, remember, UP only scored one field goal in the final 5 or so minutes of the game. And then there were some who were wondering that, okay, maybe if they shared the ball better, maybe got the ball to their big men, it could have, resulted to a win. After the contest, Coach Gold himself said that Harold's performance was special, but he also, indicated that UP as a team is at their best when they're beating you with a collective effort. So where do you land on that? Do you feel that it was the right decision to go mostly with Harold down in the stretch because he had a hot hand, or is one of the adjustments you want to see from UP for them to have a more team-oriented attack come game 2?
Yeah, you know, like you said, a great performance, very special. He went off. But me, I've always been a team guy. And that's not to call Harold not a team player. He's going to take the opportunities and good on him, and be aggressive when you have your opportunities. Um, but for me, I'm in that same boat as far as like your team is going to be better off if everyone is in a rhythm, everyone's contributing, everyone's touching the ball. This has been my MO since I started playing basketball. That's the way I learned, and that's the way I still think today. So, yeah, I mean, they got a lot of weapons at UP, and I'll say this to everyone that asks me about it. They have more than enough to win a championship. They probably have more than any other team in the UAAP. So to see uh, a lack of usage from all the weapons that they have collectively is hard for me to watch because I would like I understand the capabilities of these guys and they have so much talent. But that's where it gets into like, okay, Harold's scoring and he's making tough baskets, right? Throughout the whole game, he's keeping you in it, keeping you alive, keeping you ahead with tough baskets. But it's a lot of ISO. It's a lot of top pick and roll, not just from Harold, from all their guards. It's a lot of top pick and roll. It's a lot of tough shots. And so those tough shots stop falling at the end. Defense gets a little bit tighter, and now you have nowhere to go. Not only do you have nowhere to go because the offense is a little bit stagnant because it's just top pick and roll and ISO, but all those guys that you need to step into something right now and step up, they're not in a rhythm because they haven't been, part of things throughout the whole game. So that's why even today, on my team now, such a big thing for me is, okay, how can we get guys involved from the jump so that when you need them come fourth quarter, they don't feel like they haven't touched the ball in 30 minutes.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because that, for me, I've been in that position where it's not a good feeling when you feel like you have never touched a basketball before because you're just not part of the offense. For instance, in my years, it was James Spencer sitting in the corner, he's playing, 25, 30 minutes a game, but he's sitting in the corner for 20 of those. So it's going to be hard for him. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, long story short, I am a fan of the team. I am a fan of the team game, and I would like to see them get all their weapons involved, especially the bigs, and especially their wing guys that are playing off the ball. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, there were games where James would sit in the corner. He'd probably get the ball every 5 or 6 possessions, and then he'd have to defend the best wing player in the opposing team. That's also where the sacrifice component comes down to it, right? But I mean, you would know this because of your experience playing ball. True or false? If you're not getting the ball, subconsciously your effort in defense just isn't there as much.
Not only that, I was just about to go there too. Is that if I'm not touching the ball, when I do get the ball, it's just inside a basketball player, unless you are the most unselfish guy. But with the UAAP lights and the UAAP environment with 20,000 people watching you, when I do get the ball and I haven't touched it in so many possessions, it's going up. I'm gonna get a shot up because I'm gonna see if I can get some of the love. You know what I mean? And that changes if I have opportunity throughout. And that doesn't mean always shooting, but if I'm James or if I'm, Jacob Bila or if I'm Sean Alter or if I'm Ghani or any number of guys that play basketball and I'm out there for a decent amount of time and I'm not touching the ball at all, then it starts to affect other things, right? So sometimes it just feels good to touch the ball, even if I'm just passing it. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like there was a lot of options on our team. And so my main focus was how do I get the ball? Okay, let me go rebound and let me go play my butt off on defense, and these ways my opportunities will come. But it'd be nicer
Were
to have it within the offense.
were there ever times you were frustrated that you didn't get the ball enough while you were playing for UP?
Of course, but that's not to say maybe I was touching the ball enough. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna feel like they want the ball a little bit more unless you have ultimate green light and you have the ball in your hands all the time. Do I feel like definitely for me I could have the ball a little bit more sometimes? For sure. And I could be right about that. I do think I'm right about that. But um, yeah, that's the way it goes. You know, I mean that's just basketball.
So if you're LaSalle right now, are you concerned that you nearly lost that game and UP hasn't attacked you with their team concept on offense yet? It was mostly Harold doing the work. Or are you more optimistic because you can tell yourself, hey, I mean, their player went off for an all time performance and we somehow survived that and we're up 1-0.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling good if I'm them. I'm feeling pretty good about it. But like you said, uh, they're for sure preparing for the adjustments that UP is going to make, right? And so, yeah, you would think that would be the adjustment, right? You can't have one guy score all your points. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, season 84, season 85, 86, and 87, the team who lost game one went on to win game two. And it just so happens, ironically, that the team who won game one in each of the last four finals was UP. So they haven't won a game two under Coach Gold yet. Now, let us know in the comments, everyone tuning in, who do you guys have winning game two? Is it going to be LaSalle or is it going to be UP? Let's talk about Jacob Cortez, because I know you appreciate ballers and hoopers who are separate from basketball players. I mean, a good basketball player is someone who knows how to play within the team concept and contribute to winning, even if he might not necessarily be scoring. But a hooper is someone who just knows how to get buckets despite what the defense throws on them. Is Jacob Cortez one of those guys for you? One of those guys that, when he's got it going, he's just got too many moves and such a high IQ that you just won't be able to stop him?
definitely shades of that. I mean, he can put the ball in the basket, that's for sure. And he has the skills and he has the confidence to be able to do so. We saw it late game for sure. I mean, how long did he sit in the fourth quarter before coming in and hitting the?
4 minutes, maybe?
Yeah, that's That's pretty impressive. Sitting there like, man, he's sitting the whole fourth quarter and then comes in and knocks down that shot. So um, that's big time. I mean, he's tough. And he has been throughout. He's really good when he was at Sambetta. I was talking to his teammate Peter Alfaro, and he
Mm.
FaceTimed Jacob, and I told Jacob, this great game, man. He played a great game, and he was big for them. And I think having a guy like that that's steady and can go get one gives a lot of people comfort. Same thing with like it's kind of like a Robert Bullock, Jonty Miller over at Sambetta right now. Harold
He's
Alarcon
cold.
last game, or
They're cold,
how.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. These guys that you give them the ball and you know that they can create for themselves and get you one when you need one. That's big time to have.
We know about Phillips. You got to play against Phillips for 2 years. Probably ended up going home with some bruises after trying to box him out a few times in those games. You played. Is there anyone else in the LaSalle roster right now you played against? Probably just Phillips at this point, right?
Yeah, man. I think everyone else is gone. I think so.
You played against Baklan when he was in NU.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. He against Baklan when he was in NU. Yeah. Is there anyone else in the team who caught your eye? Because you mentioned Pablo earlier, but anyone else in particular?
Uh, there's a couple of their wing guys. Sometimes I get confused. They got a few guys same like type build, same prototype on their wings but they hit some big shots. Huh. I don't know, man. For me, the biggest thing was at the end. Their guys are hustling. You know what I mean, on the offensive boards, and then they're guarding on the other end at the end of that game. So for me, that was the biggest thing. I don't think anyone stood out too much, except for the only reason I mentioned Pablo. It's not even the shots that he made, those 7 points or whatever that he had. It was those two blocks.
The blocks.
Yeah, I was telling my teammates it looked like he was 7 foot tall. You know what I mean? The way he was getting up and just sending those things. Um, but yeah, other than that, not too much caught my eye on that side. And that's not to diss anybody, but um, yeah, I mean, main thing
So
was
I mean,
Jacob.
yeah, you're leading the PBA in blocks right now, so you know a thing or two about rim protection. When you're a shot blocker, or when you like going for those denials, you know there's a risk reward factor there, right? The risk is if you leave your feet because you're gonna go for a block, and someone pump fakes you, or they fake a shot and instead give a drop off pass to the assignment you left in case you're the help defense, you're in trouble, right? So as a shot blocker, how do you know when to take that risk of leaving your feet, knowing what could be the casualties involved? And two, does it help when you know that the guy whose shot you're trying to block, you know that he's more of a scorer rather than a playmaker?
Yeah, I think it does help when you know tendencies of the guy that you're guarding or the guy that has the ball. Um, so yeah, yeah. So when you know the tendency, it definitely helps, right? If I know someone is getting downhill to score and they don't pass the ball, there's some guys like that, that I know it's going up, so I can challenge you. But the main thing for me is just like usually I'm getting my blocks help side. I'm a pretty good help side defender. So for me, you try not to overhelp, which I do overhelp sometimes, and we might pay for it. But I'm usually helping when somebody's beat, and so when they feel like they've beat their primary defender, and I'm usually coming kind of out of nowhere. But it's not always to block shots. As a shot blocker, it's really more about making it the toughest possible shot that they can. I always tell my teammates, if you get beat, do not foul them because they're going to have to make it over me. And I'll either block them, but that's not really what I'm focused on. It's really just making that shot tough. They're going to have a tough time making it over me. And then as a primary defender, if they're jumping off of 1 foot, then you're pretty much good because they're not going to stop. If they are playing off of 2 feet and you have to understand their tendency, right? Of like, okay, he plays off of 2 feet, so I can't be the first one to leave my feet. He needs to jump before I jump, and then at that point, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So that's also why Jacob is so hard to defend sometimes because he has this move. I'm not sure if you've noticed it, where he goes full speed and he suddenly stops. One leg goes up, one stays in the ground, and he kind of just
Whew.
decelerates. Oh, and he waits for the defender to fly past by him, and then he finishes in crafty ways. And that got me curious about the question that we got here from Mateo, one of our viewers right now. Xavier, if you're gonna have to defend Jacob, how would you defend him?
Usually my MO for when I'm guarding a guy that might be faster than me. Usually, because I switch onto a lot of guards, uh, and I pride myself on being able to guard them. But for me, I'm usually, much taller than them. But it's always using my length. So Jacob, he's got a lot of moves in his bag, but for me, I'm giving him a little bit of space so that he can't just blow by me. And then
Mm,
from there, if he wants to take a step back or a pull up, cool. I did my job. It's going to be contested because of my length. It's not going to be the easiest shot. It's going to be a tough shot. And then if he tries to get downhill, I don't like your chances. You know what I mean? Because even if you do slightly get by me, I'm really good at being able to get a chase down block and make that shot tough. And I'm not. I do leave my feet sometimes off of pump fakes and whatnot, but on a guard like him, I probably wouldn't just because he's so small, and that I don't really need to jump to contest his shot. So I like my chances on a lot of guards. There's some guys that are pretty tough, but um, I like my chances. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be guarding Jacob all game, so my job is a
yeah.
little bit easier. I get him on a few switches, and I think I win that matchup. But if I gotta chase him off screens and all this stuff like that, it'd probably be a different story.
So UP's defensive assignment of having Raylan Torres on him. Because remember, you're also trying to disrupt him from getting comfortable, right? Although, to be fair, La Salle has been really slowing down the game. You see them crossing the half court line at 17 seconds a lot of times. They want to make it a grinded out possession battle, which I think helps them because UP is a team that thrives on running. Um, but do you think that Rayland is the best defensive coverage on Jacob right now from the UP side of things?
I would probably not agree with that. Not in the sense that I think Raylan's super pesky, super physical. He can hold his own, but for me, I like Jacob Bila just because there's a little bit
Mm.
more length. Um, he's pesky as well. He's quick. It's like, what is he? Maybe an inch or two shorter than me, but he's probably quicker than
He's
me.
6'4", right?
Yeah, so a couple inches shorter than me, and he's quicker than me. So he can give him a little bit more pressure on ball without getting blown by. And it's a longer defender. As a guard, you'd rather play against somebody shorter, right? And I don't think Jacob likes contact uh, too much. Again, I gotta be careful what I say because that's not a dig either. I don't like contact that much either. But so I think hitting him with from different angles. So like you have Raylan who's gonna be physical with him, and the other guards. Jerry is a good guy to be physical with him, and then you have Jacob who has a little bit more length to him, and so you got to hit him from. He's such a good player that you have to come at him with different guys. You know what I mean? But for me, definitely the best guy is probably Jacob, just because I like his discipline. Raylan gets a little handsy for me. It reaches a little too much.
Jacob versus Jacob. Remember, Jacob Baylor did a good job in KQ in game one of the finals last year in the second half. So let's see if Coach Gold decides to play that card. Although Coach Tom might be the one calling the defensive shots, we know that he can conceptualize some ideas. He'll probably have a few ideas ready for game two. Again, to those tuning in, Daily Fantasy is a partner of the podcast, and right now on the ticker underneath is the referral code you can use to make an account and give yourself a better chance to win big prizes leading up to Christmas. I know some of you are eyeing that big, expensive, flashy Christmas present. Well, this might be your chance to win it. And because we're talking fantasy sports right now, I'm going to put Xavier on the spot real quick. Xavier, if I ask you to make the perfect PBA starting five fantasy lineup, who would be there? And so it's fantasy, so it's just stats. Who would be the best five right now in the PBA?
You probably put Juan at your one because he's averaging dang near a triple double. You probably put Drew Mar at your five, considering that San Miguel is playing in some close games because he doesn't do as much if they're blowing teams out. But you, too many rebounds. Um, oh man, stats.
You'd put
Probably
yourself,
put
man. Come on, you're leading the league in blocks. You got to.
yeah. I put myself at the four. Either me or Balti. Balti hauls in a lot of rebounds. Um, well, I probably put me in there. And then Bullock probably him and Juan
Mm.
at the one or two if it's just based on stats, just because those guys they're doing a lot. And then at small forward, man, I'm not sure. Ooh, you might put CJ Perez in there too.
Mm. I see CJ
Um,
as like a small ball three. Yeah,
yeah, but not.
stats
It
are
would be
crazy.
him or Bullock up there at the two. But man, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure who I put at the three. I'm blanking on guys that put up a lot of stats.
You could be a three technically.
Man, it's my dream. Unfortunately, there's a lot of short guys in the Philippines, so
Well, maybe the
get in where
import
you fit in.
season.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's just put CJ at the three for now. So your five are Juan, Bolek, CJ, yourself, and Junmar. I think that's five over anyone, any day. It's amazing
yeah,
too
it's
how
pretty good.
people are surprised that Juan is going crazy with the stats. That was like, to me, he should have gone number one overall in the draft. I mean, I get that height is might in the Philippines, but that guy is nice.
Yeah,
Just like
they
not
don't grow
even
on
like a
trees, that's for
casual. Oh
sure.
yeah, he's nice. Yeah, not the casual nice. Speaking of one, more like he's nice. Like you could see this guy like for 10 years just being a star for your
For
team.
sure.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to Daily Fantasy. And if you guys want the best chance to win in Daily Fantasy's PBA games, draft Xavier Lucero, 100% guaranteed. Recommendable. All right, so Zave, I gotta pull up something here real quick. And I know you're gonna take it as a sport because you're a chill guy. But I just gotta put your quote up here real quick that they turned into a graphic when they asked for your prediction. Yeah, the quote there speaks for itself. Did you did you expect the kind of reaction that you got? I think you might have forgotten how crazy UAP fans can get there for a second. I mean, you haven't been in the UAP for a minute. I think you might have like slipped there a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely coming at me. I mean, I'm getting comments on my posts. I'm getting tagged in things. I'm getting talked to in person. Uh, but I guess I was expecting a little bit, but maybe not to this extent. I'm misunderstood, man. I'm misunderstood.
um, yeah, the comments are kind of funny, but you probably weren't affected by it though. You kind of liked it, right? Because I mean,
Man,
first of all, you like the trash talk in the court. It gets your juices flowing.
yeah, I'm I trash talk. Man, you come to one of our practices, you probably only hear me talking trash, whether it's in regular conversations or on the court. So, we have a substantial amount of LaSalle alumni in our coaching staff and our management. So the
You
quote was
do.
really for them. It was right after we had won the game, and somebody he had interviewed me, and that was what he asked, and just trolling, really. Now, do I think do I think that UP has the better squad, and do I think that they're going to win? Of course I do, and I'm going to have confidence in my alma mater. But the second part about the attendance, that's just for jokes. Just because I knew people would be a little upset about that. But anyone who knows me knows that I'm just joking around, man. I'm not. Like I said, I talked to Jacob Cortez literally the day after they won. So it's not even a. People take it too seriously out here, man. It's never been that serious.
So when you thought of, I mean, why attendance? It's just so random. I think that's what's so funny about it. Like, you could have been like, yeah, UP's gonna crush them, or UP's gonna beat them, sweep them. You're like, oh yeah, LaSalle's gonna show up for attendance. I mean, did any of your Magnolia coaches or management trash talk you before that comment that made you go, all right, let me one up them a little bit here?
Nah, no honestly, no trash talk before. If anything, like I said, it was me trash talking after UP won against UST in the Final Four. Coach Juno, who's on
Yeah,
UST staff,
and it's a
the next
LaSalle
morning,
alumni. Yeah.
yeah, and LaSalle alumni. But the next morning after UST had lost, I came in singing the UP Naming Mahal. just that's just who I am, man. I'm
Wait, hold up,
trolling
hold
I'm
up.
trolling people.
So you enter practice. Coach Juno is there, stretching, probably minding his own business. Probably still got his thoughts in the game, and he just starts singing "UP Naming Mahal" while you're approaching him, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. We're about to watch film, so I walk in there. I'm one of the first players to walk in the film room, and all the coaches are, just there preparing, talking and whatnot. And so just start singing. But it's all fun and games. They know I'm joking. I'm still joking around with the LaSalle coaches right now. What is sports without a little, friendly banter?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What makes it more fun to watch? Gives people a reason to cheer harder. You know what I mean? I think when it gets a step too far is when all these people online that are trolls themselves are coming at me like outside of basketball, bringing in things that don't relate at all. It's not just for fun anymore. So anyone out there that's still looking at me like I'm some sort of a-hole, just know it's all for fun. And if you're
All right, I
you're gonna
gotta
continue
ask.
to take it seriously, you got some problems of your own.
I gotta ask. Do you want to give us a preview of how you sing the UP Naming Mahal song?
No, heck no, man. Yeah, I don't speak the language, so Coach Juno, right after I sang it, he said, "You don't know the next line," and I was like, "Yeah, man, I don't. I don't know the next line."
You really are a troll, bro. You are a walking troll, man. But that's why it's always so funny to hang out with you. But wait. So you got team governor Jason Webb, obviously played for LaSalle. Mon Jose, who part of the LaSalle coaching staff. Coach Juno, LaSalle alumni. Anyone else? Who else did I miss that is LaSalle from your team?
Tony Boy, Coach
Tony
Tony Boy.
Boy.
Yeah,
Exactly. So after game one, did you get it from these guys?
yeah, for sure. Next morning, I come in and I saw Coach Mon after the game, and just sly comments, slick comments here and there, telling me, oh, we're in a defensive drill, and if I get, like I got to steal in one of our drills, and Coach Tony Boy's talking about, oh, maybe if you teach the UP guys that they'll have a chance. And it's just little stuff like that. You know what I mean? Friendly trash talk, just like
Man,
I give.
man, I love it. And we need more of that. I wish that alumni would trash talk each other more, leading up to the games. That would just add to the appeal of everything.
For sure. At the end of the day, man,
Yeah,
I'm not on the court, so it's not going to
yeah.
affect me whether UP wins or loses. I'm rooting for them, but I don't. When they lose, I don't lose. When they win, I don't win. You know what I mean? Same thing. I root for the Warriors, but I'm not on the Warriors team. So like as much as I want UP to win, I can't control anything. So I am literally just a fan like everyone else. So it's just for fun.
It was branding too. Honestly, it was great branding. I mean, You gotta get yourself a little out there sometimes, right? Get yourself in the stratosphere of consciousness, shall we say? So when people sent me the code, in my head too, I was like, oh yeah, that's part branding. Xavier knows what he's doing, but he does believe in this UP team for sure. Did you get any comments or interactions with the LaSalle fans in the game on Wednesday when you were there? Anyone say a little something to you?
Yeah. A few people said something as the game ended, and then um, I'm waiting to leave. And after the game, there's a lot of picture taking and whatnot for me, Juan, Javi, and so while UP fans are taking pictures, LaSalle fans are walking by, and they'll say slick stuff. Uh, that's one thing I would wish. If you're gonna talk trash to me, like if you're gonna talk trash back, it's gotta be witty, man. A lot of this stuff is as far as trash talk goes, it's not good, man. Come with something witty, come with something, something that is well thought. Don't just, I don't know, man. That's coming from a trash talker. So as far as
What's the
I'm concerned,
lamest
anyone who
trash talk
said
you
something to
heard?
me still hasn't won. What I said was was good. What you said is just eh.
What's the lamest thing that you heard on Wednesday?
I didn't hear too much, there's a lot of people in the background, the South fans taking pictures of me. And then they'll say stuff like, I don't know, man. Just they'll walk by and they'll say attendance, eh? And I'm like, eh, which is it's funny, right? I'm gonna take it with a smile. Um, but yeah, nothing too crazy. It's really in the comments where people are actually hurt, like when they can hide behind their screen, and then they really get loose online, as you know.
Yeah, those are the worst. The people who like have a fake ass name, no profile picture, and they talk shit
Yeah,
to
yeah,
you
yeah.
as if like they're the most badass people in the world. And I'm like, you're hiding behind an anonymous name and an anonymous picture. You shouldn't be talking trash. Like you don't even want to exist at that point, right?
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and like I said, when you factor in you're talking trash to somebody that was joking and literally is not affected by by what happens in the UAAP finals at all, man. Like I said, I want them to win. I'm rooting for them, but my life goes on, man.
Are you going to
I'm
game
just
two?
stirring the pot, huh?
Are you going to game two?
I won't be there. There's people in the comments saying they'll see me at game two. There's that LaSalle legend, I guess, or
Mac Cardona, yeah.
yes, he was saying something, but I have a job to do. We're going to Bahrain, and so uh, I have to do my job.
Well, let's close the book on. I mean, let's close the book on that episode of the attendance check. But I'll always remember the Xavier Lucero attendance gate that had a lot of people up in arms. It was really hilarious though, because I guess only because I knew you. That's why I knew that it wasn't something to be taken too seriously. But from the casual observer, those who haven't really interacted with you, they're probably like, "Who the hell is this guy? What's he saying?" Right?
For sure, for sure.
Um,
Especially if you only saw the quote in the video. I was giggling in between and whatnot. But if you just saw the quote, then it just looks like it looks like
yeah,
how they how
the
they
coat looked
perceived it to
bad.
be.
Yeah, but when
Yeah,
actually watching you in the video, you were laughing and smirking. That's why I thought that maybe Mon was right behind you or something, or in front of you. But just the coat alone was pretty interesting. If you guys have any
yeah.
questions for Xavier, send them into the comments. So Xavier, you guys are going to Bahrain. Quick thoughts. How do you like your team so far this conference? It's insane to me that when I do turn on the PBA and I'll be watching more of you guys after the UAP when the schedule clears up. I see you on the court. I see Jerome Lastimosa on the court, Javi GDL on the court. And I'm like, first of all, time goes by so fast. These guys were just in the UAP like years ago, and now here they are in the PBA. How do you like your chances this conference?
Yeah, man. I like our team. I like our the adjustments we've made. I think, like I said, we got a new coach, a good amount of new players. Like you said, we have a young team. Jerome, me, Javi, Rafi Verano, Chris Kuhn, Peter Alfaro, Yuki and Andrada is about to be joining us. So we have a pretty young team and a lot of guys that are just finishing their college careers. Um, but I like it. I like it for our future, and I like it for our present too. I think we have a lot of smart players, a lot of really skilled players, and it's just about putting it together. So I like our chances this conference. I think there's things that we for sure have to tighten up. There's good teams in the PBA, that are hard to beat. So I'm not going to talk too much trash right now. That's not what I'm on, but I do like our chances if we can put it all together.
Is it a little crazy to be going to war together with Jerome now after you guys went at it against each other so many times in the UAAP?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, more than Jerome, I played against Rafi and Chris a ton. I mean, that
Mm.
was the main competition. Ateneo was still at the top of their game when I was there. So, uh, 2 3 game series in the finals. We talk about that pretty often. Just how special. Well, '84 was really special. Like that was a really good series to watch and to be a part of. One of the best series. I mean, we talk
The
about
greatest final series ever, hands down.
yeah, I think so too.
Greatest.
I mean, that's some crazy games. You got 2 overtime games. You got a freaking clutch shots, clutch shots, clutch performances. So it was yeah, we
Yeah,
talk
not
about
even
that a good
close.
amount.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember Chris even like dislocated his shoulder, I think, in that season 85 finals and then braved through it to come back and win. Obviously, you suffered your own injury too. And it just goes to show how crazy those battles were. We got a question here from Christian Xavier. Any quotes for game two?
Any quotes?
Yeah.
Man, you know
Okay, how
what?
about any predictions? Any predictions?
Yeah, I'll save the quotes. I'll save the quotes for after the game, I guess. That way people don't get too upset. But my prediction is that it'll be another really good game. I think it'll be close. I don't think you can. Here's what I'll say. I think as game twos go or as these things go, it'll be really close, or UP will win by a sizable margin. That's what I think.
Mm,
Just because of
okay.
the way the finals and these things go. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
I would be saying the same thing if UP had won game one about LaSalle. I would be saying LaSalle is either going to win by a sizable margin or it's a pretty close game. But I do think that UP wins it. I think it goes to a game three. I just think that's the cinema that is going to be unfolding. I just don't see it not going to a game three.
Would be pretty fitting given how the final series for UP have gone the last few years. So
I
how
mean,
about
it's gone.
outside
It's
of
gone to game
basketball?
three for
Oh, go
what?
for it.
The past 5 years.
Yeah, 84, 85, 86, 87. This will be the fifth year, 88,
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
happens. Yeah. Well, how about outside hoops, man? I mean, anything you got going on for you? I know you're in a pretty good relationship right now, kind of settled down a little bit, life going good for you outside the court.
Yeah, man, I can't complain. As long as my family's doing well, healthy, safe, and as long as I got um, I'm in touch with my faith, then I can't complain, man. Stay right with God, uh, stay right with your family and your loved ones, and like you said, I got a good girl with me, so um, can't complain, man. Good friends around me, good people like yourself. I'm just trying to enjoy life, man. Just trying to enjoy life.
For sure, man. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And when I'm when I get the hang of changing diapers and feeding milk, and it's part of the routine and the system, I'll find some time to catch up with you. I mean, there's some projects we gotta do, and I gotta update you on. So I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for joining me tonight, Xavier. I really appreciate it, and best of luck with everything you've got coming up for you.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me. Always love.
Always love for sure. Thanks to Daily Fantasy. Thanks to Cooper's Coffee House. Thanks to everyone who tuned in live. Much love, everybody. God bless.